Okay, folks, what I got here is an F-150 powerstroke. I've had some issues with it, and I'm going to jump right to what the fix was, just so you don't have to listen to me babble on, and then I'll continue on after that with the description of how and why I came to this conclusion. So what I got here is a deleted powerstroke, and it had codes for miscommunication with the TCM, the ABS, fail to start, a whole bunch of codes like that. If you have any of those codes, and then there's more, glow plug, relay, blah, 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 and then eventually wouldn't start. If you have those codes and it's deleted, then what you should do, what I found, your computer's right here, unplug this one. I've unplugged it. I just got it laying here. I'm gonna obviously seal this up so it doesn't get shit in it, and I just put this on here so I could drive it without stuff getting in there, but I will come up with a better solution for that. But I just came up with this fix for now. So yeah, unplug that. Now here's why. This truck came to me, the engine went on the customer, and they had it deleted some months before the engine went. It got towed to my shop, and it sat here for about 4 months before I could get to it. We finally got to it. We dropped in a brand new engine from Ford. I mean, this thing was drop-in ready. Turbo, glow plugs, fuel injectors, everything. Harness, it was plug and play. You drop it in, you plug it in, you go. I got it done, got it in, ran beautifully, gave it back to the customer. The customer took it and was very happy for about 2 days. And then the wrench light came on the dash, check engine light came on. She scanned it, and it came up with the codes that I just had mentioned earlier. I don't remember on the top of my head what the code numbers were. I could look them up, but regardless, she scanned it, and it had these codes in it, and she had it towed back to us because all it would do is idle. You couldn't accelerate or anything. So I got it back, and I tried everything. I thought for sure, what did we do wrong? We put the engine in. It wasn't doing this before. She said it never done this before. So we went over everything that we did related to the engine, had every connector apart. We lifted the cab off this truck to do this job, and couldn't find anything wrong. Everything was good. We even added some ground just to make sure. But the problem was when it got to my shop, it ran fine. Everything was perfect. Drove it around for a couple of days, and everything was fine. So I thought, all right, maybe the ground's fixed it. Gave it back to the customer. The same day, she called up, said she's on the side of the road again. I was like, holy frig. So she did manage to get it going that time, got it back to the shop, and over it again. So I was like, all right, maybe by some chance this new engine has something in it that has to be flashed by Ford. So we put the factory tune back on the truck, sent it to Ford, and they reflashed it just to be sure. And when I went to bring it back, I didn't make it back to my shop, and it happened again. So obviously that didn't fix it. So all right, this is it. I got to dig into this deeper. So finally I decided to reset. Maybe it's got nothing to do with what we did. So I started looking at the way they deleted it, and not unlike this Super Duty or even that 6.4 over there, you do your deletes, you unplug the stuff you're no longer going to need, and you just leave it. I've done 100 of these things just in the last few years, and it's no different with all those. But what I have found is the people that deleted this truck, like for example, I don't know how well you can see that. See that green? I cleaned that already. But before I cleaned that, and same with this one, this here, that green went all the way across. It bridged this whole plug-in. This one here was just the first two. And also, you just can't see it very good, but the wires were broken through here. It's like they pried them apart and wasn't very gentle with them. So anyway, I got thinking, under this truck, there's about a dozen of those plugs throughout this truck, from under the hood, under the truck. And most of the ones under the truck looked like that. And this will apply especially to those that live in colder environments where you get snow or where they use salt on the roads. This truck was just deleted this past September 2024. She drove it for 2,000 kilometers before the engine let go, and then it sat in my yard. So that's how little it got driven. And then we got it going, and those plugins looked that already. So this thing had maybe less than 2,500 kilometers of driving, and those plugins look like that already. So I did some digging. I brought up the watering schematic, and then I had found that this plugin, this one here, all this controls is just the emission stuff for the DEF, things like the pump to the EGT to the stuff like that. That's all it controls. And by unplugging it here, it no longer sends current to those plugs, and it solved the issue. I've had no backlash from this. I've driven it several times. Everything works as it should. No codes are popping up. The only thing left I got to do is see if I still have good cold high idle, which is I've yet to do, but I've just discovered this yesterday, which is 1st of February. So there are some inputs that it uses from various sensors like cylinder head temp and transmission mode, but obviously it would need those stuff to determine if it's safe to do a regen and whatnot. So it doesn't seem to affect anything to do with the transmission, engine starting, idling, except, again, I haven't tried the high idle when it's cold. But this fixed it. This has done it. This here, and I didn't realize that even though this truck is deleted, that computer still sends current to those plugins, and it will jump when that happens, and it puts this thing into limp mode. So I hope that helps people out. And I'm going to also add that it applies to the 17 and newer Super Duties, 350, 250. The plugin's a little bit different location. Different in how it looks, sorry, but it's the same idea. You should unplug that, seal it up, but don't use dielectric grease or anything on the inside here, because that will cause it to jump. So find a way to cover it so just stuff can't get in it. And yeah, so it took me a while to figure this out, but I got it. And I'm going to do some more testing, and if anything comes back that I do need to plug that in, my next step would be to just unpin the wires that go down to those sensors. So I hope that helps people out with this. It was a bit of a bugger to find because these trucks aren't all that popular. Nobody's making videos about these doing deletes on them, so this took some digging. But yeah, I hope this helps people.